guys are doing great. I recently did the Rags and Riches series on the channel, and sometimes like it's good. Like I was trying to do more of it, but you gotta listen to what God says, and when it's time to stop, it's time to stop. So I transitioned into a new series, right? And the reason for me doing that is that I was listening to this message, right, from Mike Todd, Pastor Mike Todd from Transformation Church in Oklahoma, Tulsa, and it was his Anchored series, right? And I was listening to his sermon, God Still Speaks. And what intrigued me of it was it was a lot that pulled me in, but one of the things was how he came about with this series, how he was talking about how he took time out to sit and listen to God. And that really convicted me because it's like, man, like I do that at times, but it's like, do I do it more? Do I do it consistently? Do I take breaks? Do I actually consult with God, right? And it made me think back to a few years ago. And like right after, I was like, I got my notebook out, and I wanted to share this with you guys. So on May 2018, I got this word. I was in a small group, and this couple that was over the group said they told me this scripture. In the day when I cried out, you answered me and made me bold with strength in my soul. And that's Psalms 138, verse 3, NKJV version. And that was a word they had for me for a small group. So I'll say it again. In the day when I cried out, you answered me. So God answered me. It made me bold with strength in my soul. And when they said that, I was like, whoa. And the reason I had that reaction is because the year before, on May 24th, 2017, one of my friends brought somebody he knew to the church, right? And he was the guest speaker. And it was a similar message. It was a similar word about boldness over my life. And he said that he had this visual of me, that there is a red carpet with a lion on it. The lion is a symbol of me. A lion is bold, fierce, a leader like myself. Even leaders have to go to God for guidance. The carpet is your palace, and you're cleaning, and you're telling me to come. Humble my heart and help me stay in your will, and that I lead with a gentle, passionate heart. And just both of those words that I grabbed onto right during that time, but then I forgot. I was like, oh, this is so powerful. Somebody can say a word of your life, right? And it can be a powerful thought in the moment, but if you don't put action to it, it's for naught. And the word that I had for this year, after listening to Mike Todd about God Still Speaks, was cleaning. And it's crazy because that was my first job coming out of college, right? I was like, oh, I want to get these journalism jobs and all this, right? But then I was cleaning. And in the midst of me having that job, I wasn't searching for a job at all. My OU pastor, he reached out to me, and he was telling me about this school position that was available at the school. And I was like, oh, I didn't do education, none of that. And then I was in the school for these number of years, and it was all because of God, right? And then after that, I got my master's some years later. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get these jobs. I'm like, and then I didn't get it, and I was like, what is going on? Like, I had all this planned out. And then this year, I'm back at the same position of cleaning. Still leading, still teaching, but cleaning as a janitor. And it took me some time to realize what was going on, right? When you're cleaning, you're not necessarily seen. Like when you're a janitor, you're not necessarily seen. It's not the job that everybody wants, right? But in that time, those 3 hours, 4 hours, you're by yourself. And in the midst of you complaining or thinking, you're able to dive deeper into your relationship with God. And while you're cleaning the floors, while you're cleaning the seats, it's it's so powerful because you're cleaning a temple, right? And if God can trust you with, taking care of the temple, He can trust you with taking care of the souls that you're interacting with. And one of those souls first is yourself, right? So you're doing a physical cleaning, you're doing something physical, but at the same time you're doing something spiritual. Like He's pulling at your heart. It's like, hey, you're cleaning this floor, but I want you to clean yourself. And then while you're working, think about the people who are coming in here. And then transform their lives. And then I will move you out of this place. And it's like the basic things that we have to do to move out. It's like doing chores at home. If you can't clean your house, if you can't keep your living space tidy, how can you expect to do that in the workforce or wherever God is leading you? And yeah, that word is like, as leaders, coming to the throne, right? Being bold as a lion. You can be very bold and be a bad leader. And by humbling yourself and in doing these jobs that you're not really seeing, it requires strength. It requires, just a strength that is not of your own, and it's a blessing. To do that in the private and prepare for the public. And when Mike Todd was talking about God still speaking, it's like, man, like, hey, God is still speaking through me, but am I listening? You know, and because of that, this year it's like, even last year, starting out, like, it's like all those thoughts that I had in my head. It's like, hey, like, I'm good enough to do this, right? And even the choices that he gave me, sometimes like we'll be like, oh, I gotta see if this is the right choice. And you, of course, you talk to God, right? But then it's a lot of times you're like, hey, that's the right one, that's the right one. And then we think it's like, oh, I gotta see, and it's like we're putting up these barricades, these walls, and he's like, hey, it's your choice now. Like, you came to me to ask me, now you make a decision, you know. It's like, I'm not gonna force you, but I'm gonna put you in the position where you can make the best decision, right? And it's like, let me think. Like in the Bible with David, like God instructed him how to win. He didn't tell him, hey, you know, like, go out, like I'm a show you all these things to how to defeat Goliath. No, he put him in a position, the bears, the bear and the lion, and he was like, hey, like, here's your tools to how to defeat this war right now, this battle right now. And then David clicked. He was like, hey, you was preparing me for something else. Like, God, I got this. Like, he won, but then he still sought after God. He's like, hey, I won't go nowhere unless you're there. And then when he knows he's in that next spot, like Joshua, like when he knows that he's there, like, then I'll go. You know, and Jeremiah too, with the armor bearer, like, he went out, and he still was thinking about God. He was like, hey, if they call us up, you know, then we'll do it. And it's just crazy. And yeah, you gotta take yourself back to the basics. Take yourself back to the beginning and build a foundation up. Like cleaning this foundation. You're cleaning the foundation of the temple. And going back with the temple, God was, he's not a cheap God. He's one of details. In the temple that they built in the Old Testament, it was like all this gold. It was a great temple. It was beautiful, right? And that was the symbol of him showing us how we need to be in our heart, you know, on the inside. And when Jesus is living in us, he's like, hey, let's make room for him. Let's clean out our temple. and He's preparing one for us. Man, I can go on, but I just wanted to leave you guys with this word, and let's see where the series takes us. Clean your mind, clean your soul, clean your temple, and be bold like a lion, and don't jump ahead too fast. And this one visual that I want to show you guys that I wrote down. So after those words that was over my life, I wrote this. So it's like it's village, lion, then God. So the village in need, and then it goes to you, and then it goes to God, because you're the liaison for the people around you. I hope you guys enjoy this message, and like always, peace and love, y'all.